Oh, fuck. Fucking hell. Good afternoon. I don't think I'm gonna stay long. So the ECG went okay. So that's good, I suppose. You know.
Him to prison and led to the gallows.
Oh shit.
Last November, an
But,
event provides a debate on
yeah,
death
it's fucking scary.
For the first time in 38 years, the Pope is visiting the Japanese archipelago, which is home to 1.5 million Christians. Nakamada is one of the Vatican's VIP guests.
I wouldn't like to get, hey Andrew, I wouldn't like to get locked up in Japan. Oh, that was when the Pope visited, man. He was the best of them all, John Paul. You know, they look happy, don't they?
His presence alone is a strong signal against the death penalty.
Yeah, the Pope didn't believe in the death penalty and shit like that, you know, the proper Pope.
Somos invitados a proteger toda vida.
John Paul.
Alguien por haberse equivocado, por estar enfermo.
Yeah, at the moment, YouTube, it's just not a bleeding priority for me, you know.
Words might not be enough to abolish the death penalty. 80% of Japanese people support executions.
Fucking hell, I didn't know that. Did
Last
you know
year,
that?
15 convicts were executed.
87% did what? Hang on a minute, did I hear that right?
Innuendo.
87% believe in the death penalty.
Invitados a proteger toda vida.
Well, then how can you say I'm
Por
Christian
haberse
then?
equivocado, por estar enfermo o en una prisión, no es digno de
He's
amor.
speaking Latin, Chinese.
These words might not be enough to abolish the death penalty. 80%
No.
of Japanese people support executions.
Oops, a daisy.
Last year, 15 convicts were executed. More than 100 people are still on death row. How can such a judicial system be explained? It responds to a philosophy rooted in the culture of the country. Order and harmony are cardinal virtues that everyone must respect.
Cardinal virtue. Hey, mate.
This is what Jake Adelstein, an American journalist who has been based in Japan for 30 years, will show us.
But I'm watching a few things on YouTube or on the telly. I don't know, but at the moment YouTube doesn't seem like a priority for me. You know.
So is it like China where there's a spy camera watching you and you get points deducted from your social credit because you're speaking on the train? No. People just
I like the smell of grass though.
That's what you're taught from the time you're a child,
you know. It's crazy. Flowers, trees, grass, they all release neurotoxins and shit like that. You know, and they cannot heal me with you.
That's a great thing. There is an unwritten rule that you're not supposed to eat and walk at the same time.
Fuck off, mate. Oh, I tell you one thing, man. Some of these countries, like, they have mad rules. You know, like, in Japan, like,
Japan is a country that constantly likes to warn you about things.
it's crazy,
This
man.
one is like, no playing on the escalators,
No
baby
shit.
cars on the escalators. Parents hold the hands of your kids when they're on the escalators.
Like I said, 2 days to go before the biggest fight in fucking British boxing for I don't know how many years. I watched Chris Eubank's dad's interview today on Talk Sport, and I know his dad would like to be a part of it, but his dad's got principle and his dad set the standard for Junior. And Junior thinks he's always right. If you're dealing with a person that thinks they're always right, you're never going to be able to get past it. Because, like I said, Chris Eubank's dad set the standard. He wouldn't have the life he has only for the start. He wouldn't have the name only for the start. And, I bet he'd want to start in his corner because, his dad is bled and sweat for the game. Boxing's a gentleman's sport. And you have to be a gentleman at all times. And what Junior did was ungentleman behaviour when he smacked Conor Ben in the face with a neck. You're bringing the sport into disrepute. Like, it's a serious sport. It's modern day gladiators. Do you understand? You're putting your neck on the line, bro. And I tell you one thing, the two of them have a dislike for each other, and that's a bad thing. When I say they hate each other and one of them could get hurt, look what happened to Mir. It's happened with Nigel Benn and it's happened with Chris Eubank. Like, a lot of people don't realise you're putting your life on the line. And Junior looks in good shape. I don't want him to win. I want Conor Ben to win, but who do I think he'll win? I think Junior will win. But I'm a Conor Ben fan. But I'm a boxing fan. And as a father, if that was my son going into battle and not listening to me, well, listen, his dad was there. You sent me away. And his dad said, so while you sent me away, I got to live my own life. And you did that. He told us that. You asked me to leave. You sent me away. And in that time, I realised that I could live my life again, and that's what his dad said. But his father is exemplary for the sport. A proper English gentleman, except for looks are deceiving, right? Because your average English gentleman, they're normally white men. Big fan of the Queen, aristocracy, fucking all that shit. Big fan of the Queen he was, Like, and because of his daddy, Junior has that name, Eubank, and he wouldn't be where he is without us. Like, all you can do is lead them to the gates. It's up to them to walk through it. I can't do it for you, but I can give you the tools to succeed. Have you got the fucking minerals to fail? I can give you the tools you need to succeed. If you're my son, do you understand? The difference is, my eldest son listens to me. Hang on a minute. You're a 147 fighter, so what are you doing fighting him? He's too big for you. Do you understand? You're a 147 fighter. You're fucking fighting a dude that normally walks around at 180. If Chris Eubank's daddy had been in his corner when he fought Liam Smith, I think it'd have been a different outcome. But he's got too many distractions and noise around him. Ben Shalom, like throwing money at him. That Turkey Al Sheikh? He's cornering the market off in boxing. He's got Bob Arum, Al Heyman, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, and Dana White. There you go. He's cornering the market. You see, because he has oil money. Yeah, he's got that oil money so he can pay them whatever. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn hated each other. Everyone's got a price. You know, that Turkey Al Sheikh intervened and now they're friends. They even cuddle each other. You know, Eddie Starr and Frank hated each other. They probably still do. They won't admit it. You know. But I think Eubank, without his dad in his corner, I want Conor Ben to win, but I think Junior will win. He's an arrogant cunt. Well, like I said, everybody has a price, you know, and the Saudis are cornering the market. Nobody does it like Riyadh. You know, oil money, next level. Like, that's what they're doing, they're cornering the market. Al Heyman, Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. Do you know any bigger promoters in the world? In boxing. There you go. Them four people there are Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Al Heyman. Four biggest names in boxing when it comes to promoting. You know. But I want Conor to stop him. I want Conor to iron him out, to proper humble him, you know, because his daddy didn't beat him enough when he was a kid, obviously. I don't think he had a daddy like me. Otherwise, he'd succeed at everything he does and he'd have his father in his life, but he's too arrogant. You see, because he's always right, Junior. He thinks he's always right. And once you're dealing with a person that thinks they're always right, no matter what you say, it doesn't give a fuck. Because they've already decided. But anyway, in all fairness, hey Fred, I went for an ECG and I got my cup of tea. He said, would you risk it? And I said, give me a biscuit. He's like, Jewett, you're going to have to take your top off. I said, I beg your pardon. I'd like Conor Ben to beat Eubank. And then they have a rematch. And then I'd like Junior to win one. So then there's a trilogy. You know, but his father's right. He's around scumbags that haven't got his best interest at heart. You know, all they care about is the pound. You know, boxing's a dangerous sport. You know, them two guys, like I said, Chris Eubank, his daddy has said it, he's worried for his son. You know, like boxing, look what happened to fucking Michael Watson and look what happened to Jared McLennan. Do you understand? You know, you get hit so hard so many times in the head. It can cause like long lasting effects, you know, like brain damage and shit. You know, like I said, I want Conor to win because I think Chris Eubank Jr. needs to be humbled before it's too late. I think it's too late in any way, but you know, he should have his dad in his corner with him, like Conor. You know, it's sad for the sport because Chris Eubank Jr. thinks that he's right all the time, and his arrogance is what's going to get him. But he'll get a chance at retribution because there's two fights, right? Now, a lot of gambling goes on them fights. You know, a lot of money, big money. I think half of his purse will go to Neymar if he wins. Because it says Neymar has an online betting casino or an online betting app, what have you, and I don't know whether he owes him money or what have you, but That's what they're saying. He's taking this fight because he owes Neymar so much money. Like, but you never know. Like the media, they tell you things like, you know, it's like they put a false narrative out there. I don't like the guy. I think he's too arrogant. You know, he looks down on people. I don't like people like that. At least Conor Ben's humble. You know, he didn't go to private school. Well, you know, like he's just up his own arse, Junior, and I hope he gets fucking humbled. How you feel? Like I said, I'm only staying for another 15 minutes, bro, and then I'm fucking off. But yeah, I went for the ECG thing, and I went alright. You know, I said, come here. I said, can I have a cup of tea? Yeah, no problem, any sugar, Jude. You know, I said, it's alright, I'm making myself. Go on then. Yeah, I got one in a mug, but it's like, so yeah, the ECG, there was like, cause Finn, right, he put the, he wired me up, yeah. He said to me, it's not fucking working, Jude. I was like, here. He said, I've tried it this morning, he said, on myself. He said to make sure it was working perfect. And I'm like, he said to me, Jude, can you stop moving? I was like, sorry, I'm just a bit anxious, you know. So he said, just calm. He said, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. I'm like, listen, you don't need to tell me breathing exercises. I've been at 3 labour wards. You know, 4 labour wards. So while I was composing myself, like my anxiety was fucking, you know, so I was just trying to calm myself, you know. He said, I can't get a reading, Jude. He said, here, hang on, we're going to have to do this again. He said, I apologise about this. I was like, well, I tell you what, Fred, I reckon there's going to be a lot of trouble at that. And the world is watching. But, so yeah, I'm sitting there trying to entertain myself, like, and take my mind off at the same time. But the technology they were using today was prehistoric. It's like, he said, Jude, it's not working. He said, I'm going to have to phone in a reading. I said, you what? So it's crazy, right? So that gets sent to the hospital because there's at a doctor's, right, where they done it, yeah? And he has to wait for them then to send a reading back. But he said there's a couple of like irregularities and shit like that, but take into consideration, he asked me about my dad's heart history. He said, tell me about your dad's heart history. I said he got a new one and he turned into a City fan. How about that for a story? Do you know half your fucking, your brain stores 50% memory and so does your heart? And I thought that was bullshit, but a surgeon told me that before he put a 13-year-old heart into me father. So I know your heart stores memory and your soul. My dad turned into a City fan, the arsehole. But nah, look, it could have been a lot worse. You know, I just wanted to get in there and out there, man. It's like, you know, when you feel that, you know, when you go underwater and you panic, it's like that feeling. But in all fairness, everything is okay with the heart, I think. You know, he gave me a 90%, so here, I'll take that. Like I said, Fred, you know that march, there's going to be a lot of people getting violated that day, and I believe that they're going to bring in a lot more police from all around the UK, everywhere, to police that event. You know, it's like, it's going to be like it's history, you know, and you're going to be part of that, Fred, what? You know, I know a few people are going to it. I know Mousy and fucking a few of the other Irish YouTubers are going to it to document it. You know, that's what's important. You know, because this is history. Like, our constitution doesn't seem to have or hold the same value that it used to once, when people were more hungry. Over 109 years ago, yeah, they were pretty hungry. Some of them were getting boats to America so that kids wouldn't starve to death. And then the ones that stayed behind fought and died in Dublin. For what? Hey, for what? That constitution? Get the fuck out of here. Blow the fuck out of Doyle, because they all need sacking. Insubordination to your fucking nation. You know, like you swear an allegiance to your country and your constitution to abide by it. You know, because many men and women come before us and died for it. Just to uphold that. That's the standard right there. And I've realised this. Out of all the tough guys that I've grew up with, allegedly, and all the things I've done, it's like, allegedly, it learns you. Do you understand? It's like, what's going on in Ireland is like unconstitutional. And a lot of people died for that, for liberty and for freedom, and, you know, like I said, it's not Ireland. You know, you need your own house. You need to fucking have your own house and stuff before you can help anyone else, you know. And it's like it's not the same place I left. It's much more dangerous, you know. And it's like, you know, if you went to a country and you're getting loads of money, wouldn't you ring your mate and say, "Here, come to Ireland"? You know, they give you leisure money here, you know, to entertain yourself. Like what? Yeah, I know a few people that are going to this march, and I know a few people that'll get arrested at this march. You know, and the eyes of the world is going to be on Ireland this weekend, because when Irish citizens are getting treated like second-class citizens in their own country, that goes against the Constitution. You know, like, we've history, we've been here before. You know, but except for now, we have another infidel, another occupier. Do you understand? It's like oppression all over again. It's like slavery. it's crazy, like, you know. And everything starts with all them at Doyle, you know. It's like, I'm glad I'm out of it a long time. You know, it's like, it's fucking insane. Like, I was watching videos the other day of Arabs with swords. Like, there was these 3 Irish lads, and there was about 20 of these with swords, and fucking, I'm like, wow. Like, did that just happen? You know, Ireland's changed so much since I left that, and, you know, I'm not missing much. The way I see it is, it's like, you know, like, it's history, you know. It's like, and this weekend the eyes is going to be on Ireland, because this march, there's a lot of angry people, and it's like, I think they're going to let their voices be heard, which they should do. But I can't see how this is going to end up being a peaceful protest. I can see headlines in my head now. I can see riot police fighting with civilians, patriots, Republicans. Every kind of man is gonna go to that march, and women. From crooks to drug dealers to fucking assassins to patriots to all kinds of people are gonna be at that march. You know, it's like, and I just think it's gonna go off like big time. You know, like, you know, it's like I don't think it'll happen, but rubber bullets and shit like that. You know, I know Mousy is going on that Irish Day and a few more and what have you, and it's like in town. Like I said, it's like I just, like I said, I walked away from Ireland years ago, and I knew when I went I'd stay. I didn't want to go back. But like I said, you know, a lot of my mates, like, why too many triggers at home for me, too many dead friends, you know. And like I said, it's like they don't bother me the way I used to, like, but you know, it's not the same place I left, you know. Like I said, a lot of my pals when I come here passed away, and fucking some of them, because they wanted to be the man, they ended up getting shot, double tapped in the head. And do you know what's more? Do you know what's ironic, right? You're a product of your environment, right? And I'm a psychopath, but yet we still haven't engaged in calling any little sausages out on here. And I tell you one thing, there's some Irishmen on here that need a good smack in the face with a frying pan. But like I said, it's history. And like you say, today's history and tomorrow's a mystery. But I believe like that. Can you imagine the fucking overtime that's going to be going in there? You know, but there's a lot of fucking Irish YouTubers going to it, you know, and document it. Because it's history. You know, like when we're dead and gone, our kids and grandkids are going to talk about it. I was at that march. You know, that kind of way. Nah, in all fairness, I couldn't give a flying fuck at the minute. I'm more concerned about my mental health and my health at the minute. And other people's fucking mental health around me. You know, like I said, I'm dealing with a serious amount of stress. And like he told me today, the doctor, because of my dad's history, he said, Jude, he said, you need to calm down. He said, your blood pressure's a bit high here. You know, I was like, no shit. He said, breathe through your nose, out your mouth. It's not as if you've not done this before. You know, breathe. Breathe because I can't get a read. I was like, bro, indeed. Do you smoke weed? He said, no need. Okay then. But no, I had a good chin wag with the doctor, you know, fucking, or whoever it was, he fucking, but it's crazy because he said to me, Jude, I can't get a fucking proper steady reading. It's like, so we done it 3 times, you know, like on the 3rd attempt it worked, but he had to phone the fucking hospital in order for them to send a reading to his email so he could see, you know what I mean, and then it came through. But he said it's very slow technology what they're using here, Jude. He said normally, he said the other one there, I was like, well listen, yeah, you just do what you need to do, will you? So I can fucking go, bro. you know. So I was just sitting there, I was like, fuck it. But like I said, it's just like it could have been a lot worse, you know. Like I was closing my eyes and breathing earlier on, and all I could think about was my family, man.
The getaway car of Mud has been found burnt out, having vital DNA evidence.
But yeah, the geezer, I said, here, he should get a pay rise.
So this is the great golf.
You know,
On an industrial state.
we were talking about psychology. I like talking to educated people with degrees and PhDs. I schooled this guy today on heart surgery and procedure. No, it's not done that way. And he said, how do you know that? I said, because I haven't me dad. You don't forget them things, you know. Abdominal heart transplant. Sorry, abdominal biplasia. Recipient being my father. Received the heart of a child who had cystic fibrosis and died. And my dad got his heart. And have a guess how old the kid was, 13. We were talking today, me and this geezer, and he's like, I never heard of that procedure before. It's called abdominal biplasia. This kid had cystic fibrosis and he died. And my daddy got his heart. His question not denied. According to science, and anyway, your heart stores 50% memory. Because you know, my dad got that kid's heart, he turned into that 13-year-old and changed his football team into Manchester City. We were told 3 things about the donor. His name was Daniel, the same as me daddy and my little brother. He was 13 and a Manchester City season ticket holder. You know, my dad brought me, Mark and Alex up as Reds. My dad got a blue heart. And that was only the start. So while I was laying on my back today, I was like, you know what? It's time, Jude. You know, I've always been afraid to give up smoking. It's like because I worry for myself, you know. So it's I'm juggling at the minute, you know. It's like, and you can't juggle your health, especially when you're 51 this year and the heart history my dad has, you know. But as long as my heart's beating, that's all I give a flying fuck about, me. You know, because like I said, if I, God forbid, something was to happen to me, I think I'm gonna upset a couple of me family. So, you know, you only get one life, and I'm definitely not a 30-year-old man anymore, you know. Like, I'm 51 this year, you know. I've been smoking nearly 40 years, you know. That must fuck you from the inside, you know. Like, to the point where I have COPD, and like I said, and the Pope won't die in vain. I'm telling you that now. You see, I'm a Christian and I believe in science, right? Science and science. Science as in John's College, 13-year-old, turning all the gas taps up and trying to blow Mr. Doherty to kingdom come. And then you have science as in fuck you. Yeah, and I'm very good at reading both. You see, I like science. I'm interested in it. What goes up, what goes down, gravity, propulsion. Yeah. But, nah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was fucking, like earlier on, my nerves was gone, you know what I mean? because I had to do this fucking ECG like for the third time because I don't know what he said. He said he just couldn't get a regular fucking heartbeat. I was like, bro, you're fucking making me anxious here. If you're trying to cheer me up, it's not working. Here, you can give me chocolate biscuits if you want from the Queen. But yeah. It's fucking, like I said, trying to give up smoking, man. It's fucking one of the hardest things. Like, I'm gonna fuck up myself, like. You got Redden. Enjoy your game of football. Hey, Elise. You always come in here, what the fuck? But nah, like I said, I'm delighted about like that. You know, like I said, fucking. Like, I'm not gonna lie, while I was scooting up there today, it was just on my mind, you know. No, I'll stay for a few more minutes. My missus is in here, so. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like he told me, he said, Jude, he said, take this into consideration. You've been smoking 38 years, is that correct? Around that. He said, you fit a certain category. You fall into a certain category because of your age, because of all the medication you're on. They put extra strain on your heart. Do you understand? He said, all the medication you're on for years. He said, you're a good candidate for a fucking heart attack at the moment. I said, are you trying to cheer me up? But he's breathe. You know, everything will be okay. Just breathe. No. You know, I was getting anxious. He's like, tell me about your life, Jude. I was like, are you fucking serious? He said, no. He said, tell me. I said, what do you want to know? He said, you're a dad, aren't you? I was like, yeah, breathe. He's like, tell me. I was like, what do you want to know? I said, I've got a 1-year-old and a 31-year-old. Yeah, so what else would you like to know? But I fucking skilled him today about fucking, because he said he's a big and he had a PhD, but obviously he didn't fucking listen in science. I'm like, hang on. He dropped down. I was like, he said, I went to medical school for 5 years. He said, I should have been there for 7. He said, and yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to sit in the garden. I'm going to have my cup of tea without a smoke. No, in fact, I'm not smoking, so I don't have to go out. But I'm fucking watching something on telly. Like I said, at least fucking your heart, like when they start telling you, like, you know, you fit the criteria for, hey Richard, for a fucking heart attack. I was like, bro, you trying to fucking cheer me up? You know, I don't do hospitals or doctors. I try to avoid them, even cancelling them. But it's like he said, listen, it's like this has to be done. We need to investigate this and what have you, and you know, like. But I'll tell you one thing, he was one of the nicest fucking quacks I've ever met. Or whatever he fucking, I don't know what his job title is, but I tell you one thing, I put one beside a humanitarian. You know, he's like, you know what, he said, you're the most blunt Irishman I've ever spoke to. And believe me, I've spoke to a few awkward Irishmen, he said. Fuck off. I haven't got my body out. Did you see me tits? I have 4 nipples. I was trying to get them in the video just to prove what I was saying earlier on. I've got 4 tits. God loves me. He's took the piss. Do you understand? It's like being born with a vagina and your 2 balls as well being underneath your breasts and having a beard as well. It's because of me COPD. I have a beard. Nah, but like I said, I'm going home tomorrow to see my son, and I might stay tomorrow and watch a movie with Lisa and get a takeaway. We'll see. But like I said, this fight, I've been waiting for it a lifetime. Now tomorrow, like I said, I was like, right, I'm gonna fucking go to bed and try fucking sleep. But I told this guy today, I was like, it's scaring me because it's like naturally, it's very. If I hear that, like something awake, and it's just like sleep hygiene. This has been like this for years, and it's been getting worse. Have you told people what I keep doing? I'm going into the kitchen, I'm making a cup of tea, and then I'm getting up a few minutes later, going in to make myself a cup of tea, and I put it down, and Lisa says, Jude, you've just made one. Oh, sorry. And I told him it's getting worse, like me memory, and like I said, it's like for me to even consider stop smoking or coming off smoking, I have to know something's wrong, right? And there is something wrong. It's not healthy to smoke what I've been smoking when you have COPD. But I also have a lot of anxiety and stress and other people's worries and stresses. But I was told today that I'm a prime candidate for a fucking heart attack. But my heart's fine. As long as I'm not too fucking stressed out. You know, I was like, cheers, doc, because that is not gonna help me. Bob, it's not even funny, yeah. But guys, that's how bad it is. I put the baby sponges in the fridge, in the packet. You know, like, stomach fucked, lungs fucked, memory fucked. So I've got hell to look forward to. You understand? For Jude MacDonald to say to himself, Jude, you need to stop, you need to cut down at least. So I've had to come to compromises with myself where I say, right, there's a cut off point. You know, my lungs are fucked. It's like to the point where I'm worried about it, so I have to do something about it. You know, because if I don't, like I said, a lot of shit has been happening to me, like I can't even go to the toilet without having a bleeding hemorrhage. You know, like I said, real talk, there you go. Progressively gets worse. It's not going to get better. So I've got hell to look forward to, and everyone expects you to be. You understand? I'm a bearer of secrets. But we are the standard setters. And I truly believe that people aren't as hungry as they used to be. Because you have everything handed to you. About 7 o'clock, I'll give them a buzz. I had a bit of fish earlier on, you know, before I went out. I'll tell you one thing, you see them chicken balls? They are fucking lovely, they are. Like, Everyone keeps telling me to watch that City is theirs. Dylan's watched it. He said it's very good. Uh, Wait, what time are we on? Right, 20 past 5. Oh. Uh, I'll stay for the hour and then I'm fucking off. Like, well, 15 minutes and then I'm away. In all fairness, YouTube, like, even though I'm here and I have extra time on my hands, you think I'll be using it to make loads of fucking content, but the truth be told, YouTube is the last thing on my mind once it goes past 10 o'clock. I'm normally in bed for 10:45. And for some stupid reason, I seem to be able to sleep a little bit when the people I love are beside me. But what I've noticed is, it's like, it's even before like this recent fucking pattern. It's like I just hoping these doctors agree to give me a sleeping tablet, you know, on top of what I'm on every night. Because if they don't, I'll just buy them. I told them today. I said, listen, I need you to help me with my sleep because it's affecting everything. Like, my body's fucked, mate. And when you're not, when you don't sleep here, you know. But I don't want to go down that road, you know. And it'd be so easy to, you know. All I want to do is to sleep over 5 hours every fucking night without waking up. Do you understand? I've more crow's feet on me fucking eyes, mate. You know, sometimes your brain is sleep because you have fucking hostiles invading your territory between 3 and 6 in the morning.
Drone analysts have had a breakthrough and think they've identified a new number for Sean Brown.
Nah, look at it's like, I'll be honest with you, moving to England at 18, I was racist. I was a bigot. In fact, I was a fucking little wank, I mean. You know, it's called little man syndrome, inferior complex. It's a mental thing, you see, with psychopaths. Have you ever researched your illness? Well, here, wait till I tell you this. Now, I've not told you this, but I used to be a crane operator. One of my jobs when I used to do construction up in Harlem Pickles, and I let me load go one day. Hang on, sorry, wait, no, reverse. I dropped the load, sorry, 10 tons on one of the trucks. And while I was over at the Etihad, I was looking up at that big crane and I was like, Jude, that's moving directly above your head. You've seen the omen, haven't you? You know, get the fuck out of there. I was looking up like that, Lisa, right? And I was getting vertigo. It doesn't matter where, but you vertigo. That way. Well, yeah, I know vertigo. Out of the fucking way. I'm looking up and I see a little fucking stone coming down, right? Just where I had my scooter, mate. And I fucking, you know, if that hit you in the bleeding head. Well, Finn, I've got 11 minutes and then I'm taking my face for a shit. You know, like I said, I'm just glad that's out of the way. Even though it's not, look at, I've had fucking endoscomies, colonoscomies. Do you understand? Like an ECG isn't fucking painful. It's just all you're doing is getting a read in your heart. You know, now it's sooner that than a camera down my neck, which I've had, and I've had one up my arsenal too. I've had stomach problems years and come just getting worse. And Finn, the side effects of the medication are fucking me up, bro. And they're irreversible. Long-term use of fucking antidepressants and antipsychotics, Finn. So, mental, physical, and psychological, yeah, but like I said, I could have gotten a lot, I could have been told worse today.
Tactical units are now on standby.
Well, I'll probably end up having,
Down there, down to the back, round to the front.
I'm not as fit as I used to be.
Critical wanted are preparing to strike.
Hey, I remember when I used to have a shirt white. Hey, I remember when I used to have a white uniform and white teeth too. I used to have Dougie Joyce teeth. But your mind can convince you sometimes, though, of your self-worth and people around you too. And everybody matters, like, you know, but today I'm not gonna lie, Lisa, you know, when I was lay down, like I said, with them on my chest and all so I could get me head was a picture of you and Thomas and Lily and me kids and, you know,
An unconfirmed sighting of murder suspect
don't
Sean
you
Brown
breathe,
has been reported 12
you know,
miles from the address police currently have on the surveillance.
like the way I am on here is the way I am no matter where I go. I try to not curse and what have you, but I don't change certain things, you know. You know, I'm not narcissist, even though I am a psychopath. Well, I have psychosis, so it's short nickname, isn't it? So, what I might watch in a while is The Final Solution. Now, it's all about Hitler, okay? And speeding up the process of killing Jews and exterminating Jews, 1 million babies. Now, my brothers give me 3 documentaries to watch. That and 2 others. But I don't think I'm gonna watch it. Nah, fuck that, Finn. Like I said, I need to relax. I can't be, do you understand? Watching shit about, no, that's not. I'll tell you what was heavy, Finn. I went yesterday and today on my way back, right? And there was a fucking crane. I was looking up at it, Finn, yeah? And you know that fear of falling, free falling. I was looking up, right, and I was like, I'm watching this crane go, right? I followed it around the corner, yeah? And he had like 3 cherry pickers, yeah? Except for all different sizes that can all lift a certain amount of weight. So they had to use 4. So you're using your big crane, right? And then you have 3 cherry pickers, one massive one, like the 3 bears, Daddy Bear, Mammy Bear and Little Bear. And I'm looking at it all in, and all it takes is for one of them to be a fucking centimetre off. And that fucking thing here, to be no more STRAIGHTOUTTABALLYER. In fact, he'd fucking squish me. You know. But I love architecture and I like building things like channels, but I know how to put up a scaffolding, right? And I look majestic. I was there admiring their work. You see, I was an adrenaline junkie, right? And some of my jobs, you get adrenaline off hanging off a building with a body harness on you, with loads of spanners and ratchets and all kinds of fucking fixtures in your hand, while you've got a body harness clipped. Oh shit, this is gonna die. Oh no, my shit's gonna die. No, don't do it. Please don't do it. No, you can all fuck off. I'm about to go, right? I've 5 minutes left and that's me hour. You know, like I said, at the minute YouTube isn't a priority of mine. You know, finding me way home. That's me fucking issue. You know, because I just feel lost at the minute. You know that? It's crazy. I can't explain it. But like I said, it's a good day today. You know, some people went today for a procedure like an endoscopy or a colonoscopy or an ECG and were told bad news. I was given good news today. You know, I hope you have a good night at your football league. Good luck with your bloods tomorrow, Max. Like I said, it's crazy, like, you know, but I tell you what else is crazy. Listening to them two mad bastards upstairs. I beat the brakes off you, boy. I know you're watching me, you big baldy bastard, you. Go on, I can hear me fucking self upstairs, you cunt. You can't. Alright, Charlie. You know, I see my brother, right? You know, between the two of us, we try do an impression or two, right? Now, Mark he can take Charlie Bronson off to a T, right? I remember, right, you know that movie Bronson, right? You know the making of it. Tom Hardy had to go visit him, okay, and speak to him because in order to play somebody's life, you have to get inside their head, but you also have to let them inside yours. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom. You know, Tom, sometimes in life, you have to cut away a piece of yourself in order to be free. You can imagine Tom Hardy sitting there and this mad bastard is like, listen, sometimes you need to cut a piece of yourself off in order to be free, Tom. In here, Tom. And here, you see this man, you be looking at him while he's fucking speaking to you with conviction. You know, you're taking off. You understand? But Mark, he's very good at it. He just had me in stitches, you know, and I need that at the minute. But I'm not gonna go over me hour because I have some fucking OCD thing about time, you know. But at least I'll FaceTime you about 7, half 7, right? I'm just gonna watch something. I'll have some food maybe later and might settle the stomach. I know he bulked up, but like I said, playing Charles Bronson, like, been having to get in his head, like, cause some people, they stay in role. And like I said, you know, he does his homework, Tom Hardy, he's a great actor. You know, like Alfie Solomons, he plays a great Jewish man in Peaky Blinders. You know, you know, I love the part with Arthur, Lisa, you know, where Arthur's grabbing the ashtray and he's about to give it him. He's about to iron him out with an ashtray. And he's looking at Tommy and he goes, fucking hell. He said, hey, look at that right fucking there in your fucking eye. He's the fucking finish article is your Arthur, Tom. Yeah, he'll kill for you with Jesus on his side. Arthur's like that. I'm Old Testament. You know that way, like I said, you know. Fucking hell, like Arthur is like, I'll be honest with you, I'm like him and Tommy. You know, it's crazy. But anyway, I'll tell you what I am. Fucking off. I hope you all enjoy your evening. I might be back later on for half an hour, but at the minute I'm just not feeling it. Bab, I'll ring you about 7:30, right? Thanks for coming in, guys, and if you are going to the march tomorrow, don't get into trouble. Do you understand? We have the world watching us tomorrow. Okay? And we have to show people our class. Do you understand? Not our ass. You know, like I said, the world's going to be watching tomorrow, and we are the standard setters, and we need to set the standards. You see, I know how you win in life. You see, and I can give you the keys for that. You know, I proved it with my first son. My way works, motherfucker. Whether you like it or not, my way works. I know how to win in life. You know, and I proved that with my first son. You know, I walked away from all the people I loved for the sake of my boy. But tomorrow the world's going to be watching Dublin, and you show the world your class. And don't get drawn into fucking arguments where it's anarchy. You know, because the people are angry and the people have a fucking voice and they have a right for their voice to be heard. I just don't hope more Irish men and women don't shed blood out on the streets of Dublin tomorrow. That's all I'm hoping, because the world is watching. And Irish men and women, we carry ourselves a certain way. We make the best soldiers in the world. You understand? And I've been around loads of soldiers all my life. You know, anyway, show the world how we carry ourselves as Irish men and women. I'll text you later on, honey, right? Or I'll FaceTime you about 7:30, yeah? I might be back on later for half an hour, guys, right? So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And just in case I don't speak to you, show yourselves, class. Tomorrow, don't show yourselves up. Show the world how we carry ourselves, but also tell the world why we're unhappy because of what's the word I should use here? You know, everything's about freedom and liberty. And once your freedom and liberty is gone, what have you got to fight for? Everything. We out. See you later. Boom.